Boom. Boom. Oh, wait. My OBS is a little messed up. There we go. We're all good. No trouble in paradise here. Welcome.
Bang. I hit my boom prematurely.
You guys, every time. I don't know why I'm surprised every time, but every time I'm like, grr. Welcome to the Live Connection podcast. Number 87. We're getting up there in age. It's crazy how time works and that it just, keeps going. Welcome to LC Podcast, where we talk about gaming news you can use and everything in between that. How's it going on this Sunday morning, guys?
You're really laying the intro on thick this week, aren't you, Peter?
I want to announce that on the 100th podcast, you can tune into the chat and tell Peter to do whatever you want him to do, and it will happen.
Yo, that's not true. That's slander. But I mean, for the right amount of money. Surprise! Donate to the channel.
Peter, I got a quick question. What's with the camera change here?
Well, because I don't know if you guys know, but I get excited once in a while. I move my hands around, so now I can get up and I can be like, "Grr, I'm angry about this or that." It allows me to express myself.
To a greater extent. Barry B. Benson in the background anymore.
No, he probably got.
What you need
scared.
to do, Peter, since you didn't get a new TV yet, you need to get the new TV. You need to get the new LG OLED TV that rolls up and can roll down from the ceiling. It's a mere $20,000. Yeah. But what is $20,000 when you could have a screen like that in your background?
How many pixels per square inch that you can see with your rods and cones?
Oh my god.
Jared, tell me what new games my cones can experience this week, because I believe we got some announcements.
Your cones can experience RBI Baseball 21 for Xbox One, PS4, Switch, PC, iPhone, and Android.
First time it's coming to other platforms other than PlayStation.
Yeah. Saviors of Sapphire Wings coming to PC and Switch on the 16th. Samurai Showdown on Xbox coming on March 16th. Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning coming on March 16th to Switch. Stubbs the Zombie in Rebel without... Oh, it's a long name. 1 second, I gotta go to it. In Rebel without a pulse. Yeah, it's coming out March 16th. On Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. So... it looks like it was an Xbox original game, and now it's coming back onto the platform. Stranger of Sword City Revisited on Switch and PC. Signs of the Sojourner. I probably butchered that, but we're going to go with that. PS4 Adventure, and it is on March 17th. The Outer Worlds Murder of Eridan is coming on March 17th. DLC expansion pack. Get ready for that. FIFA 21 is coming to current generation on Stadia. So if you're excited about that.
I should have cheered for. I didn't know it was Stadia. I
thought if I led off with the current generation and then went to Stadia, I would be able to trick you, Peter.
Yeah, that's like reading the headline, not the whole thing right there. Keep going, please.
Dungeon Defenders Awakened coming into Xbox One on March 17th. That's an action RPG strategy and tower defense game. Minute of Islands is coming to all platforms and it's a puzzle platformer, and it is March 18th. Mr. Pepper, or Prepper, is coming. It's a simulation game on PC coming on March 18th. Mr. Pepper.
Yeah.
That's an off-brand
character. Get this. Mr. Pepper origin story.
Marvel's Avengers. The simulation of his life.
Yeah.
Before he got his degree.
Marvel's Avengers is coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X.
Oh, okay.
Dark is a Switch game on March 18th. And then we got Can't Drive This is coming to PS4, PS5, Switch, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X on March 19th. Angry Video Game Nerd 1 and 2 Deluxe Pack is coming to Xbox One and PS4 on March 19th. Basically, it's Peter's life, essentially, summed up in a game.
Even more intense, though.
Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville is coming out on March 19th, and that is all we got for this week.
Oh, only a couple games? That's
only a couple. Only a mere handful.
Mm. Is that Outer Worlds DLC free, or do you have to purchase that?
I think most. Do you? I thought their DLCs were free on Game Pass with the game.
That's what I thought as well. But because I'm waiting, I haven't played it yet because I'm waiting for the Series X enhancements that are going to come out at some point. I think with the second DLC. But anyway, I was checking out if it's free, if it's with Game Pass or not. But it's not. I think with what Microsoft is doing with Game Pass is they get you to play the game, the base game, and then they're like, hey, pay money for DLC. That's fine.
I guess.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
You know what else they're doing with Game Pass here? So everyone knows about the Bethesda ZeniMax acquisition from Microsoft, right? So it was finalized earlier this week, and we all kind of guessed, okay, there'd be a couple exclusives, but for the most part, it makes more sense financially to do this. Every single game that Bethesda and ZeniMax are making, they said all games coming out that are new are going to Game Pass, and exclusive to Xbox consoles.
I don't believe they went that far. I believe, especially with exclusivity, they said that
Peter. Phil Spencer, I have the quote here. 1 second, I'm just pulling it up here.
I saw that not all games are going to be entirely exclusive. The next the next Elder Scrolls, that won't be exclusive to Xbox. It'll be on Game Pass, but it won't. No. It's going to be on PS5 and stuff.
So what they said is games that are announced, that have already been announced to be on consoles, are going to be on other consoles. Any future games they announce, that is what Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, has stated, is that all games that have not been announced right now are going to be exclusive. So games that have already been announced, they've already released, are going to be on other consoles, but future unannounced games from Bethesda and ZeniMax are all going to be exclusive on Game Pass. That is literally the quote right here from Phil Spencer.
I also have quotes from Phil Spencer that kind of agree with what you're saying, but I think you kind of miss the fact where you're talking about contractual obligations. One thing we don't know, for example, Starfield, maybe Bethesda signed some sort of agreement with PlayStation or something, even for just a little bit of funding in exchange for something.
No, but Peter, that's a game that's been announced. I'm talking games that have not been announced. They have already stated that those games that have been announced are going to be on multi-platform because that deals were made. You're right; they have contractual obligations to the different producers or different platforms. But games that have not been announced here forward are going to be Xbox exclusive games on Game Pass and platforms that support Game Pass. So PC, your phone has Xbox Cloud and all that stuff.
I guess we'll see, but I watched the Xbox Roundtable with Bethesda, and they didn't outright clearly state that. They kind of touched on it, but I guess we'll see. Because I also have quotes from Phil Spencer, so I don't know.
I was seeing...
Well, I talked to him personally.
Just articles come out that
I had sex with Phil Spencer last night.
I'm pretty sure I don't know if it's entirely true, but if they ever announced Fallout 5, that would be on PS5, Xbox, and stuff too. Even though it hasn't been announced yet, because it's just such a big IP.
They were saying that the reason they spent so much money on the acquisition was for the exclusivity. That's why Microsoft put $7.5 billion down.
That would make sense. I mean,
they Phil when at least the interview I'm reading here, Phil was basically saying it's we can't obviously be hey. I forget that game that they're making for PS5 exclusive, but they're Death something. But
Deathloop.
Okay, so games like that, he was saying that those games are where they're at. They sign contracts. They're there. Just with this, he just said that the reason they spent so much money on it was to gain that exclusivity with Microsoft or with Bethesda. So you might end up seeing it where it's kind of for a couple of years it's just exclusive or whatever. But according to this quote, and this is on GameStop's website here that I'm reading the interview with him, and also IGN, but take it as you will with IGN. He is here saying that any unannounced games with Bethesda are forward going on to exclusivity, and that was the point of the acquisition being so large. That's why they spent so much money on it. It was it wasn't because necessarily the group of the companies were worth that much. It was because they literally wanted to pay Bethesda to make exclusive games for them, and same with ZeniMax. So I think that's absolutely massive, because that's very different from what I assumed going into it. I assumed kind of like you'd seek something like a deal that Call of Duty has with PlayStation right now, where it's like, you know, you get some stuff a year in advance, and then a year later it will come out for that. And you might get some other stuff that's always going to be exclusive, like maybe some skins or something like that, a character. But it makes more sense with them spending that kind of money that they are making exclusive. And it is a push towards, right? Because PlayStation, that's where PlayStation has beat them once again, is people want the PlayStation because of its exclusives. So, you know, Microsoft launched with our Series X is to build our community. We're really pushing that community-esque nature of it. Now they're starting to turn and focus on exclusives and pushing forward on the exclusives, which makes sense with that acquisition and future acquisitions.
I almost feel like Microsoft is putting more effort and time and money into investing for their future, whereas PlayStation's kind of like, it works, and they're falling behind now.
Yeah, because like I mean that kind of came. I mean, it didn't completely come out of nowhere, but it was a pretty big surprise when all of a sudden they announced it's like, yeah, Microsoft's going to buy Bethesda and ZeniMax, and I was like, that's a big freaking platform. That is not a small thing to do, and that's not the only one. Like Microsoft does outwardly say they're going to try to acquire more companies.
Yeah. It's really all about Game Pass for Xbox, which is great. But like with PlayStation, like I do agree there's starting to be signs that they might be lagging behind. Not so much now, but in the future. It's all about like laying that groundwork. But you can always go with the argument, like if it's not broke, why change it, you know? Like it's the studios they have clearly are putting out bangers. Like they could just clone Naughty Dogs and probably be set for the rest of the generation.
Yeah.
Or Insomniac.
Or Insomniac.
Yeah, they're who makes Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Ratchet and Clank, I believe.
I mean, maybe, but at the same time, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Sure, but in a adapting market such as games, and like, I don't think that's a mentality to hold on to for too long.
It's true. I don't want another like 3 or 4 of the same Spider-Man game. That's how we get Assassin's Creed franchises.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's really interesting. Because, like, I guess. No, go ahead.
I was just to say, the Xbox also confirmed that during the summer we're gonna get a big Bethesda event where we're gonna get the news we've been waiting for. Personally, I think they're gonna pull a Fallout 4, announce Starfield, and it releases holiday 2021.
Fallout 4?
Fallout 5.
No. Like what they did with Fallout 4, where they announced it and then it came out quickly after.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
I mean,
that was hype when they did that.
They did say that Starfield is going to come before the new Elder Scrolls game, and we've gotten no information
on
Starfield. So.
Well, and those two games are going to come out well before another if another Fallout gets announced. Those two games will come out before it for sure.
You think Fallout 5 would? No.
Sorry, Starfield and Elder Scrolls will come out before Fallout 5 even gets like the front seat, because I think especially after the Fallout 76 debacle they went through, I feel like they're going to put a lot of eggs in these two baskets of theirs, and they're going to go for it. Especially when Elder Scrolls, like we joke about it all the time with how we bought I bought more copies of Skyrim than I fucking care to admit that I bought. So. It comes down to like Elder Scrolls games; they work. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm excited. I'm happy they're coming to Game Pass. That's exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting. There's definitely I'll probably play through Fallout New Vegas just because nostalgia. Not spend a lot of time in it, but just pull those strings.
I'm going to play through Doom 1 and 2. I think
I was looking at that the other day. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty exciting that they brought a bunch of Bethesda games to Game Pass all of a sudden.
Game
I want
Pass
to play Evil Within. Never played it.
It's good enough.
Like big win, like such a smart idea.
Yeah.
Speaking of Fallout 76, during the Xbox Bethesda roundtable, they brought up Fallout 76, which I personally thought was very bold of them. If I was Bethesda, I would want to just stay away from that topic.
They bring it up in the sense that they were canceling everything and
Todd Howard was like, there was very little. We didn't screw up at launch, but he talked about how being in the Xbox family would have helped Fallout 76 so much more in terms of being better tested at launch, hosting more public betas. I guess when it launched, actually, he called up Phil Spencer, and he essentially said, like, we messed up real bad. Do you have any advice or help you can give us? And Phil Spencer got him in touch with people at Xbox who was able to give him like lots of just like bulk data of other similar games that they're actually able to use to help improve the games. And now apparently Fallout 76 is one of the most played games on Xbox Game Pass. Most played.
Well, I was gonna bring this up to you guys with regards to this. Although it did have its shit, and it gets shit on a lot, because yes, it launched bad. Like it was a bad launch, but it does have a very dedicated community that plays it. Like it's a decent sized community that is dedicated to playing it. And I mean, a lot of people who didn't want to pay for it when it came to Game Pass checked it out, right? Because it's a big game. People like MMOs, so I'm not entirely surprised about it because like I said, before I left all my Fallout pages because they just are so bad. Like every other conversation is Fallout 3 is better than Fallout New Vegas. Fallout New Vegas is better than Fallout 3. Fallout whatever. But there was a big following for Fallout 76 in like a dedicated community sense, like not necessarily as big as like I don't know, it's not a Warcraft big, of course, but like it has a dedicated community that does play it. And their most recent DLCs, from what I've watched from some YouTubers that I follow, are actually good quality DLCs. But again, it's too late to really bring out the big guns, right? So
yeah,
when did they say this?
You're not a real Fallout fan if you haven't played fucking Fallout Tactics.
That's true. I've only played Fallout 1 and 2. I've not played Fallout Tactics. I am a failure to the Fallout community.
When did they say this, Peter?
This was like this week. Like as soon as when the Bethesda Xbox acquisition was like confirmed by the EU and whatever other organizations need to do it. Yeah, they had like an hour live stream.
So in the past 30 days, their average players of 5,600. That's down 1,000 from February and down another 1,000 from January.
Like I'm sure the game improved, but this
they're asking from Game Pass, right? That could be overall players. Not everyone plays it from Game Pass.
No, that's average players. That's everything included. Peak players is in January they had 11,000, February they had 9,000, and the last 30 days they had 9,000.
This is like, are you looking at Steam charts or anything, or is this Xbox specific?
This is just from Google.
Okay. Yeah, I just think in comparison to other MMOs, I was surprised to hear that, even like Destiny 2.
Well, I will take it from them since they have probably the ins and outs of their analytics.
Yeah.
Like if Phil Spencer and the team at Xbox is saying this is our most played game on Game Pass, I feel like it's probably their most played game on Game Pass.
That's not true.
I feel like they know a little bit more than the average person who looks this shit up. So I'll take their word for it.
I feel like that's not very much. For the most players on Game Pass, 5,000? That doesn't seem like that much.
I don't know. I
don't know either, man.
I guarantee you there's more than that. There's quite a few more people. But there's a lot of games on Game Pass. If you distribute their entire fan base, like the people who have Game Pass over all the games, you're going to get smaller numbers. It's not going to be like, oh, each game has 100,000 people playing it at any given moment, right?
Yeah, they could have been talking about just like people who've played it once, for instance, like number of counts or something. Who knows? They were vague, so.
Yeah, no, that's big news. Big news.
Speaking of games that have had shitty launches are struggling to hold on, the Avengers game. I kind of forgot it was a thing, to be honest.
I forgot that game existed.
I honestly really like the game, so it makes me sad that people don't like it as much.
And see, so there's been a couple announcements and stuff. So the game's had just a lack of content. I think everyone can agree that that's one of its biggest problems. That and the bugs. So the first new content, the Hawkeye DLC, got delayed, but now it's finally coming out on March 18th. Okay, people are happy about this. However, they also slipped in that they're bringing a slight cosmetic and XP rework. Oh, okay. People look into it. So they felt like you level up too much in the game, and that this can be intimidating for new players. They get receiving too many skill points, so they decided to make the grind longer to get to max level and really experience the most of combat, which is, as Eric was saying, the thing people actually like about the game. So now to get to max level, it takes roughly another 5 hours of just grind. They did this because they could. And now, so they're like, but the more you work for it, the more rewarding it feels. Of course. People
The worst
love
part
this.
is them saying in, like, the quote, so people better get in those levels before the update comes. It's like...
That's like a double-edged sword. It's like you're gonna enjoy it more if you wait, but you better fucking get going or you're gonna miss out on getting a max level.
And, like, I was watching YouTube videos on, like, people talking about this, and, like, one person pointed out, like, that was the exact same thing that EA said with Battlefront 2 when it first came out, with, like, how expensive and how long it would take to unlock heroes. Oh, the more you work for it, the more rewarded you'll feel. Be like, that's not a comparison you want there, guys. That's a bad sign.
It's like like, if that was the case, then loot crates and loot boxes purchases wouldn't be a big thing. Like, they'd be, you wouldn't have that, especially for the ones that are like, you pay for it and you basically get a big boost to your ability, right?
But with this announcement, Crystal Dynamics, the developer, said they are committed to the Avengers games for years to come. Years to come. And then echoing through my brain, Anthem.
I hope it gets better, because it genuinely is, like, a really fun game. The combat is super satisfying, and, like, each hero plays extremely differently, and, like, they are really fun to play as. Like, Black Widow with her pistols plays completely different from, like, Thor, obviously, and it's just actually really fun. So I want them to get better, but they just keep doing stupid things every single time. It's just like, just take it easy, put out some good updates, don't be stupid and be like, yeah, make the grind longer. I don't know.
Don't
put out some more raids or something. Yeah, like, just put out more content. That's what people want. They don't want to have to play the same content more.
For me, what's always sad is when, like, these games get, like, a couple things down right, or, like, even really well either. Like the flying in Anthem, for instance. I never really played it personally, but I heard, like, that was, like, actually really good. And, like, the combat in Avengers, like, they get this one piece and people are like, oh, this is good, there's potential, and then the rest is just a landslide of a mess. So apparently
even the story was good, because, like, the performance, you got Nolan North, you got Troy Baker, like, you know, it's got good performances, and the story is good. MODOK was a good villain. It's just, you couldn't even play through it again once you did it the first time. There was no way to do the story after you completed it.
It's
now
just, like,
they're
the
putting it
missions?
back in. Yeah, now they're making it so you can play through it again. So good, thank God, finally. But yeah, it's just blunder after blunder, it seems.
Well, hopefully it doesn't become one of those games where it's like it's too late for them to pull people back in, right? Like, it's one of those things, like, there is a time point where it's like the point of no return, where after you pass that, is it really a point in keeping the game alive, or do you just move on to new projects, right?
So,
Well, I mean, you say that, but I thought the same thing about Fallout 76, and now it's the most played game in Game Pass.
Well, the difference is,
No Man's Sky,
like I said,
phenomenal game.
like I said, there's dedicated fan bases. When you have dedicated fan bases, that changes. Like, as much as Fallout fans bitch about things, they still play things they bitch about. Okay.
He couldn't handle that.
He couldn't handle the truth.
I don't want to hear your argument, Jerry.
But no, like I was saying, the dedicated fan bases have kept it alive. Like, whenever you go to Fallout 76 actual, like, pages or things like that, there's a decent sized fan base that that makes it at least, I'd say, worth it for them to get a few more things out before they kill the game off. Plus, maybe they knew. For all we know, this acquisition was in the talks for a lot longer than we were made privy to, and maybe it was Xbox too that was saying, "Hey, don't quite yet drop this. Let's see what we can do with it if this goes through," kind of thing.
Stand aside.
Yeah, I was gonna say when Peter was telling that story about what's his name, calling Phil Spencer, I was hoping you were gonna say after that that's when they tried to buy it. It's like, hey, do you have any advice on how to fix this? Like, yeah, it's just some of your company.
I'm gonna write down a number here.
I'll fix it. Don't worry about it.
Oh fuck, that's funny.
But with live service games, it just seems like with pretty much every one of them, there's just this rocky start, and most of them don't seem to have a future. Do you guys think that the industry is going to continue pumping these out? Because for a while, It seems like they're jamming them down our throat.
Absolutely, the industry, they don't learn their fucking lesson. The video game developers, especially AAA studios, they do not give a shit about the consumer at all. They will keep doing this as long as they make money doing it. And look, if I'm going to go out on a limb here and say they probably make more money by making the games better over time and pulling in that slow burn. Yeah, maybe you'll get the refunds and, in the Fallout 76 case, the huge consumer backlash. But as soon as the next Bethesda game comes out, they're gonna have 1,000 fucking pre-orders in 10 seconds. They're gonna make all of their money that they need within a day, and it's going to go back to exactly the way it was. This is how the industry works now. You can't trust AAA studios further than you can throw them.
Yeah. It's sad but true.
It's true. And it's even your as soon as something works, everyone tries to do the same thing. Everyone does. They're and you talk about, Peter, where you're they jam it. They as soon as a game type is, all of a sudden it's this people like this game type. It's fucking get in there, more game type like this. Battle Royales were a good example of that, where Fortnite came out with their Battle Royale and PUBG. Sorry, I guess PUBG was first, right? So PUBG, then Fortnite came out with theirs, and then all of a sudden everyone was we're gonna do a fucking Battle Royale game, guys. This is where it's at.
What really gets me with that too is that the big companies, they see the success, then they start developing it. So by the time they can put it out, the fad's either midway or at its end of cycle. So it's no one cares anymore, and it's just yeah.
Well, it's you remember when Minecraft became popular, how many games tried to bank on that success?
Yeah.
And there was Minecraft and there was Terraria. Those were the two good ones. And then
there's Cube World and shit on the indie marketplace for Xbox.
Apparently,
I remember all these weird games like that.
Yeah,
I never paid attention to it, but apparently, Roblox has a pretty big dedicated fan base to it.
Yeah,
the children.
I mean, it's a children's game.
Yeah,
and it's free, so it's just gonna.
Is it free? I didn't even know it was free. Yeah. Okay, that makes a big difference to it. I feel that changes a big fan base difference. Parents like free when it comes to getting their kids stuff.
They also love microtransactions.
I think the kids love microtransactions. I don't think the parents love microtransactions.
I was watching a little skit with RPG Man or something on YouTube where he just makes fun of things. And it was making fun of DLC. It's you can't enter this area without purchasing this DLC pass for $2.99. It's fine, whatever. I'll just go back to my other area. It's you can't go back to the other area until you purchase this DLC pack for $2.99 or something like that. And he tries to walk away. It's looks like you've run out of steps to purchase more steps.
That's funny.
You joke, but it wouldn't even surprise me at a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't the Culling 2 or whatever try and do something kind of
there
that?
You go, yeah.
You gotta pay to play matches.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah, it was a big thing where, every week you get, X amount of, match tokens, and if you win the game, you get more tokens, but if you lose, that costs the tokens. If you run out of tokens, you can't play, but you can't buy them.
So essentially, unless you're gifted at that game, you might as well just not play it. Just stop. You're done.
Yeah, it's who Did you not ask anyone about this before you just launched it?
Do you just not have general intuition about the world around you? Like,
it's just gambling at that point.
No, I was just
basically.
gonna say
Like,
that,
they should have oh, here are your battle tokens. You mean my fucking poker chips? Thank you very much.
Well,
How
you don't
many
even
battle
you can't
tokens
even
are you
cash
gonna-
out your battle tokens? It's worse than poker chips.
So it's a net loss no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you could gain more battle tokens by betting your battle tokens against someone else and winning. But if you lose, you owe us money to get more battle tokens, and we'll send our loan sharks out to get you if you don't fucking get paid out.
Do you think there's like a high rollers part of the game where there's like a minimum bet? They have like 100 tokens.
Yes.
You really get the palms sweaty during those games.
That wouldn't even be fun at that point. You're just sitting there just sweating. You're like, I can't lose.
The conversation we had about Star Citizen, where you spent thousands of dollars in game ships.
I would hide my ships in the darkest edges of the galaxy so no one can find them.
I love this game. I'm having so much fun.
Oh man. That'd be devastating. Like when we played Ark and we played on public servers back in the day, and then we'd go back and our house would be absolutely devastated. All our tames would be dead. That was devastating enough. But if I fucking came onto my account and all of a sudden my entire fleet that was worth like $500,000 was just wiped out, I would be like, I'm done. This is life. I'm goodbye. I'm done.
Jerry, if you had $500,000 invested, I'm pretty sure you'd be like this on your computer like 23 hours a day, just like
Granted, that 1 hour does get destroyed.
I mean, if you got $500,000 invested, don't you have the best fleet in the galaxy anyway? Couldn't you defeat anyone who tries to fuck with you?
Because what was that one guy's fleet worth that got destroyed? It was worth a stupid amount.
Jared, your internet's dying, your camera's frozen, you're having a bad time right now.
he was right though. A while ago there was that big battle between like two of the biggest, like, I don't know, investors. That like the battle itself wound up costing like $100,000 in damages or something.
I just play video games for fun, man. I don't.
But you can play it for money.
Give me my little Animal Crossing island. Let me just get some bells. That's all I need.
I bought a Google smoke detector the other night, and they're $150, and I only bought one of them, and the entire time I was like, can I afford this right now? And then these guys are buying thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of in-game rocket ships for no reason.
I'm a rocket man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll watch from a distance.
No. Apparently they make money through it. So, hi Jared.
He's gone.
Does that mean we're still streaming?
Yeah, I'm here. Don't worry.
Yeah, perfect.
The important ones here. I feel like we look so much bigger without Jared.
I know.
Yeah, no,
I was just thinking that.
The difference between 4 and 5 people is significant.
It's like, oh my god.
Speaking,
Everyone looks small next to Jared.
that is also very true.
Yeah.
Speaking of video game companies and CEOs that don't understand the industry, apparently, the CEO of Take-Two has a hot new take that I think the world will love. He thinks that gamers are ready to pay an extra $10 for new games. The time is right, and this gamers are ready. They want to even pay more money for new games.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
They want to.
Yeah. Like
This is the motherfucker that makes sports games?
NBA 2K21 is $70 because, direct quote, in his view, the game offers an extraordinary array of experiences and lots of replayability. Oh, really? So
They pump one out every year.
like, he's acting like times are tough games are so expensive to make. Like, one thing he said also, games haven't gone up in price since 2005 or 6. That's where the quote about consumers being ready comes from. It's been 10 years. But look at the monetization systems that have happened since. Like, we have deluxe editions, we have microtransactions, we have pay-to-win loot boxes. These video game giants are making more money than ever, especially from sports games. Like, NBA 2K21, I don't know if you guys remember, the trailer for this game, it's the one that showed, like, pachinko machines, slot machines, and other casino-style games. Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's replayable, but...
In 2007, a AAA game would be $60 for us here in Canada. Now it's $80. He's trying to tell us we should be paying. So for them, a $10 increase, that would probably be $20 for us. Still,
15, yeah,
we'd be paying. We'd be paying $100 fucking bucks for a base game. A goddamn deluxe edition would be $175 or some shit. Who is this man, Peter? Who is this man?
Strauss Zelda.
Where is he?
CEO.
I'm gonna kick his ass.
Oh, but
Fucking
Eric,
capitalist motherfucker.
Another quote from him. They want to make sure the experience and paying for that experience are positive for the customer. That's
Give me a blowjob.
Yeah.
Give me a blowjob while I'm buying the game, and then we can talk.
Every time you play the game, actually.
Yes.
Another quote about like customer experience and how he thinks it's key. If you go into a nice restaurant and have a great experience and a great meal, but the check is double than what you think it should be, you're never going back. And we don't want to do that. See, I wasn't even happy with the food, and you're still making me pay double. I don't. Sorry, Coach. Something's not lining up.
I'm not going to McDonald's and paying double, asshole.
I don't know, boys. From what I'm hearing, I don't think you're ready.
It's just big surprise. The millionaire isn't in tune with the average person, the average consumer.
Yeah, shocking.
Man, like, how do you get off?
Like, on one hand, I'm like, CEO, man, you'll make your money. But as a consumer, I'm like, war. This is time for war.
It's even more insulting when you think about this. Like Eric said, this is the guy behind, sports games, which are notoriously piss poor in quality year to year, and cannot justify the fucking price tag that's associated with them. And he's saying it's time for us to charge more for these pieces of shit that we're putting out into the world.
It's a couple slaps in the face. It's like, pay more. Oh, don't worry about the recent world turn events that put millions of people out of work.
Take-Two, they're also the publishers of like GTA and Red Dead, so those online just have a couple bit of monetization aspects to it as well.
Fucking
yeah, I don't. Yeah, I saw this and I was like, ooh, you got my blood flowing in the morning. Thank you, sir.
I'm gonna beat this man up. He needs to be shoved in a locker.
He does.
Yeah, it just scares me for the future.
Oh, I
don't like that.
I don't. How does that factor into like Game Pass though? Like everything's going towards Game Pass or these play markets where they just have you pay for a subscription kind of thing. Do you think that would drive the price up? For this, for Game Pass, we pay $17 a month. Do you think if everyone got onto that same train, that Game Pass would go up to $27 a month?
I had to check. I had to know what the answer was. I went and I found my my confirmation receipt email from Nintendo. I paid $26.45 for Hades.
Yep.
One of the best games I have ever played. I paid $26 for it. $26. It is, honest to God, one of the best games I have ever played in my life. I paid $26 for it. And this man wants me to buy a basketball game where I can buy microtransactions so I can get a different color of fucking shorts on Shaquille O'Neal. He wants me to pay $100 for the base game. For the base game, so I can dunk on the Cleveland, whatever the fuck their name is. I don't watch basketball. Fuck this man.
It's actually a casino with a small basketball minigame in it.
It doesn't have battle tokens, Peter?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it's on its way.
Take my money, Strauss. Take it.
The question I have is, can I bet these battle tokens? That's the more important thing.
Cavaliers is their basketball team for Cleveland.
Yeah, just disappointment all around. Do better, Take-Two.
Graydon, I gotta say, you said the Cleveland Browns, and that's exactly what I thought too. that's just a cartoon character.
Oh,
that's true.
The Browns are the NFL
the
team.
football team, yeah. But I didn't even think about that.
My name is Cleveland Brown.
I was confused where the top. I realized you got to the price increase topic.
Yeah.
Yes.
That made me rage when Peter fucking sent it to me this morning, because we always exchange our topics, and
you're also not ready, Jared.
For
are you ready
increase?
for prices? Yeah.
The consumers are ready.
I will be ready for prices to increase when the quality follows that fucking example. Like, if you're going to increase prices, those games better be $10. No, double what they are right now in quality before I fucking pay $10 more for these games. Because we've been paying $80 now, and I'd say maybe one out of the last $80 games that I purchased in the last year, I've been super happy with where it's at.
Assassin's Creed.
Sounds like you need to enter the indie world.
I've been playing a lot of indie games, but indie games are on Game Pass, so I just been playing indie games on Game Pass.
It's true.
This is how the addiction starts.
Honestly, we make fun of you a lot, Peter, but I think indie games are really starting to come up, mainly because of the price increase for $100. Like Jack said, he paid $26 for a phenomenal game.
You can pay what, $20 for Stardew Valley? Probably one of the best experiences that you could have. That would last you thousands of hours, because you'll play it again. Like, you'll get bored of your farm, you'll come back in a couple months, you'll start a new farm and just repeat. Yep, that's how. And Stardew Valley is phenomenal.
Oh, it's such a great game.
It's almost as if the big guys are pushing people away.
It's all about the monetization in the end. It clouds the processes. It creates problems all around.
It's so interesting, yeah, but it is weird that it's simultaneously like a bad time to be buying video games, but also like the best time to be someone who plays video games. And you see this with everything, really. Like, it's not exclusive to video games. It happens with music. It happens with movies, where you can find so many incredible things. It happens with TV shows, where so many unique creators are creating cool things, and then the garbage is still getting spewed out, you know?
Still got Big Bang Theory and fucking Sheldon coming out.
Exactly.
Young Sheldon.
Tiny Sheldon, or whatever the fuck it is.
Young Rock.
Young Rock, I forgot about that. Jared, are you excited?
My parent, I didn't even see that. My parents fucking love Big Bang Theory.
Little tangent on Young Rock. So the show is about him. So The Rock is president in the show, and he's recounting his life. I bet this is a long-term plan. I bet he's planting the seed in everyone's head. Just you watch. That's my personal theory.
Seed for what?
For him running. For him running. I bet. I would not surprise me at all. At all.
Was it Will Smith who also said he was interested in running for president?
He said he's going to give the office a little time to cool down, and then he's...
Don't forget Kanye.
Cannot forget Kanye.
Well, I think I'd much rather Will Smith than
Honestly,
hey, that's
The Rock. Dwayne Johnson is a smart person. Like, as long as he actually, educated himself and was surrounded himself with good advisors, I could see him being a decent president. It's all about the advisors that they surround themselves with and their the charm they put out. It's not actually how competent of a fucking president they are.
And I mean, he is a public figure, so you take it as you will, take it with a grain of salt. But usually, public he seems to be a good guy. He helps with a lot of charities towards people. He gives a lot to the community. So regardless of your opinion on his acting abilities or whatever, honestly, they might just need a good guy in office.
Good guy, Jerry.
I will never run for anything political like that. I don't.
Good guy, Jerry. 2024.
No, get out of here.
Let's go, boys. Legally, he can't even run for president, but let's go, boys.
Let's go.
See how many votes I can get over while they're doing the other election.
Can you imagine though? What a life! Former WWE star, movie star, using a video game or something at some point.
He was a CFL professional football player as well.
There you go.
Well, what about that one? I think it's the French president or whatever. He played a president on TV.
Yep.
So he got elected to be president.
I think
Awesome.
not.
It was. I forget what it was.
Yeah,
but it was,
It's wow, he did a really good job in that show.
That's exactly it, though. That's what blows my mind. It actually happened. Just shock. I can portray myself as something, and people will
world's
believe it.
falling apart.
And then I can actually become that. I can literally fake it till I make it.
It's just the world we live in.
Oh God!
Are you gonna go for prime minister?
No, I don't. I think that's a bad idea. Any way you would look at it, that's too much power for me. I don't know shit.
I can't take criticism very well, so I would
to the gulag.
I'm crying every single day. Oh.
Green, did you say you could do it? You could become prime minister?
Yeah, I'll do it. My running thing will be I can't fuck it up any worse.
Peter, Green, the thing with you is that you would say something, you'd say one of your jokes, and instantly you'd lose the support of every one of our generation. Instantly.
But then I'd remove the carbon tax, and everyone would be like, "Yay!"
Honestly, I feel like a party would win if they just led with their main thing on their platform. I will remove carbon tax from everyone.
I thought Greg should be mucho burrito for everyone.
Yeah. I love everybody gets a burrito. But here's the thing: this kind of encapsulates the difference between politics in Canada and the U.S. Here, it's oh man, no one's really happy with anything, and the vaccine rollout is slow, and Trudeau is about as fucking good as a soaked white piece of bread. And then in the United States, they're I think this ex-rapper could probably be the president of the United States. I think I trust him with the lives of hundreds of millions of people.
Well, not to mention, it's the prime minister in Canada can't really do jack shit. He's the face of a party that sits there and says what the party has decided. Yeah. Whereas the president in the U.S. actually has some decent individual power to do stuff, right? Not everything. You still got to go through their government system, but there are certain things that the president can just do and overrule the entire government to do so, which just blows me away. That's just crazy to me. Give one man the power of their nuclear warheads. I feel like that's the most dangerous thing. You should not do that. That should not be a thing.
I'd never lose a game of Overwatch ever again.
I'm hanging over the last part of the code.
I'd say you would only be losing one match of Overwatch ever again.
I tell you what, if I was in charge of the nuclear codes, you better believe Graydon would be showing up for D&D on time.
Eh.
Eh?
Maybe I had a bad week. Maybe it was a
There's a lot of lives on the line graded.
For D&D.
You know, I was watching Futurama this morning, and they made a joke that there's a lot of hidden gems I don't remember in Futurama. But they were like,
so good.
So much was lost on me. Like, I don't know how I thought it was so funny as a kid, but it shows how good of a show it is.
Honestly,
Yeah.
The line that I was just thinking of was they're going skiing. I was like, oh, thank God global warming never happened. Well, it actually did, but the nuclear winter canceled it out.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so many good lines that I just completely forgotten about, or like I just watched the I think it's the finale of season 3 with the Lucy Liu robot, and it gets me every time when they're in the movie theater and it's like the Spice Girls hunting the vampire, and it's like, you can't open that coffin, it's ticking, I have to, there's a vampire in there, and then the vampire stands up, he's got a bomb strapped to his chest, is blab, and just blows up. I don't know why. That fucking makes me laugh so hard every time I see it. It's the dumbest joke, but it's for some reason it's good. I don't know.
Well, even like Zoidberg's comments. Like, I started watching a little bit more Futurama again, and I every time Zoidberg opens his fucking mouth, I just start laughing.
Mm-hmm.
It's all just what a show.
Disney Plus is legitimately worth it just for Futurama alone now. Like,
It is.
I'm going to be watching it over and over and over again.
You hear that, Peter?
I did say that specifically to hurt Peter a little
Eric,
bit.
can you say that
Well,
one more time?
you did it, Eric. Fucking mission achieved.
Eric, can you say that one more time? What makes Disney Plus worth it?
Futurama alone makes Disney Plus worth it. He heard that. I know. He heard
I heard it. I heard it. God damn it.
Oh man.
I'm excited to watch the making of WandaVision, though. I've heard it's actually pretty good, and that just came out.
I've watched a few of those behind-the-scenes shows, and they're actually pretty interesting to see how they managed to do some of the special effects and how it's actually set up.
Yeah.
And like film and everything that they do is just so incredible.
Well, it's like with just a throwback to one that was a while ago, but like with Dobby from Harry Potter, how he was just like a stick with a big foam ball on it, and then it turned into the elf. I always think about that one scene where Dobby's dying, and Harry's holding him, and all I can envision now, ever since I found out that's what it was, all I can envision is Daniel Radcliffe holding this foam ball on a stick and be like, no.
But it's like I've seen a scene in Twilight or like one of the Twilight movies where Kristen Stewart's petting a werewolf, and if you take away the special effects, it's just Taylor Lautner in like a costume, and she's just patting his head. It looks so fucking stupid.
Oh, that's good.
It's like, why does he even need to be there? Whoa, you're fine.
They could
That
use
way
a dog
She has a
as like
genuine grin as she's like, oh, this is dumb.
Yeah, sometimes it goes too far though. Like I always think of who played Gandalf again?
Ian McKellen.
Of him and how he broke down on the set of The Hobbit because nobody
Yeah.
else was there and he was just acting by himself.
Yeah,
So
that's a bummer.
yeah, it goes both ways. Like it's cool, but
Yeah, it must be crazy seeing the evolution of like film sets and technology over the past like 20, 30 years.
50 years.
Well, I was watching I saw a really funny thing the other day on Instagram, and it was like they were talking about that conspiracy theory behind like the moon landings and how it was all filmed and faked, and it was all this. And it was like, and their CGI was, they used CGI effects to fake the moon landing, and then there was a picture underneath of 2001 Harry Potter the video game CGI effects, and Hagrid looks like a fucking oval with hair on it, and his eyes are like pulled across his face.
God damn, if they could do CGI like that in the 60s, the computer would have been more powerful than the actual computers that took them to the moon.
I just found it so fucking funny. I was like, that's so true. I remember that Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets video game when we played it, me and my sister, and I was like, yeah, that was the CGI effects in 2001, and that was way after the initial moon landing. Oh, it's so funny.
And to think the cyberpunk NPCs are like that.
We should do a side-by-side comparison of the Harry Potter graphics to Cyberpunk 2077 and
I don't want to see
the similarities.
I don't want to see that.
The flying car looks identical to the vehicles inside the game.
I had one other thing I was going to say in terms of games and stuff. Dying Light 2 devs say we announced the game too early.
What?
You don't say.
What?
You don't say. Hindsight's 2020.
So is it not coming out this week?
No, they emphasize it is coming out, but they didn't really say anything else.
I think we're getting news on Wednesday.
Yeah, I think so.
Because Grid and I just started. We got through the prologue again of Dying Light.
Again.
Dying Light 1.
No.
Because we were going to do a playthrough of it. Because I forgot that, honestly, until Graydon had brought it up the other day when we were chatting. I think, Jack, you were there. And Graydon, you brought it up when we were playing it. I totally forgot Dying Light 2 was even a thing. Like, I didn't even, I was like, I assumed it was just some game off in the future that I wasn't coming out for a while. And then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, it's coming out this month. And I was like, what?
Yeah, Dying Light is awesome, is great, but Dying Reborn, that's the one we gotta go back.
Never
to.
forget Dying Reborn.
Easy, 1,000 gamer score.
I played for the voice acting.
Oh.
I wasn't even there for that recording, but I got to hear all of it in all its glory, and
yeah, it's something else.
It sucks the soul out of you. It's like, how can you be that bad?
Well, you see, when you
There's
go on
no way.
Fiverr and filter by lowest price, that's what happens.
Is that actually what happened? I wouldn't be
That's
surprised.
a joke, but yeah, they.
I assumed he was the dev, like just the one dev doing all of it.
Well, because I think it was like, it was done. It was in a different language before, like the bad voice acting and stuff. It all comes from like just mistranslation and stuff.
Oh,
like that.
that looks like one of those like crappy like Eastern European horror.
Mm-hmm. That makes more sense. I give it more leeway if it's like the dude's in another language. It's kind of like Troll 2, where all of the actors in Troll 2 were actually Italian and they didn't know English. They were just reading off the script, so that's why they're eating her, and then they're gonna eat me. Oh my god! All of them were. They didn't know English. They didn't know what they were saying.
That guy's pronunciation was really good for not knowing how to speak English. In that case,
my view on the game has changed entirely. Beautiful game.
Work for it.
AAA, actually.
I would pay $90 to $100 for that game.
Okay, real quick. Is there a game that you guys can think of that you would pay the $100 for if it were to go up in price?
A AAA game?
Yeah.
Can it be like? Because I mean, I pay if they had announced the
Breath of the Wild.
That was all right.
Witcher 3 is probably worth it.
Yep.
Fair enough.
For me,
yeah.
For me, the Mass Effects. I would have done it for the Mass Effects. I put hours in the Mass.
I would have paid. Let's be honest. I would have paid $500 to play Red Dead 2 when it first came out.
What about you, Peter?
I don't think so.
You can't think of a one?
Okay, before Cyberpunk turned into the big dumpster fire it was, if they had said that game was $100, would you have paid for it?
I would have paid it. Yeah, I would have paid it. But like putting into account my model of like $1 or even $1.50 now per hour.
Yeah, Peter's you're increasing a little bit.
I know. I haven't decided on a final price yet. I gotta look inside me and see how much of a empathetic human I am. But
for me, one of the benchmarks is always Hellblade, just because of how short it is, but how phenomenal of an experience it actually is. Like, would I pay $100 for Hellblade? Maybe, because god damn, that was a fucking good game.
So by Peter's rule, wouldn't you be paying like $25 an hour?
Yeah.
So with regards to like, I feel like $2 an hour is a more reasonable thing, because if you get a solid single player game that's very linear, a lot of those stories don't span past like 40 hours. Like for the most part, you'd be still playing less than that. Even if it's a phenomenal game, I don't think there's too many single player stories that would go past that 40 hours.
I don't know. 40 hours is kind of like a minimum if I'm going to pay $80. If I'm going to be paying $80 for a game.
Yeah, but how many games that you paid $80 for have you gotten, like, that were single player games, not multiplayer game experiences set aside? For the single player aspect, how many games have you paid $80 for that actually lasted you 80 hours of gameplay?
Not a lot. But that's why I feel like there's no value in buying AAA games, because they don't hit it. They don't hit that mark.
Okay, fair enough. I just think, like, if I get a really good story for 40 hours, I'll pay $80 for it. But it has to be a really good story. That's why I said, like, before they increase the price, they need to fucking get their shit together with story and like getting good quality games out. Because if the games are good quality, I'd be willing to spend more on them. But the games aren't providing quality.
Yeah, but how many game stories are really good nowadays? Like, so many game stories are just fucking so mediocre. The same bullshit you've seen time and time again. Like, I don't know if
that's why I said before I pay for a more expensive game, they have to improve their quality of game. Then I'll pay for it.
This is why Game Pass has it. I don't even need to think about this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft, acquire more companies. Get us Game Pass games.
We're paying $18 a month to play Dead by Daylight. It's kind of true, but we also play significantly more than that with our show Fair Share, where we play Game Pass game every single month that you can watch now. Two episodes up now.
2 episodes.
Yeah. Soon to be 3.
Soon to be 3. End of the month. Gato Roboto. Yes.
Soon to be 4.
No, soon to be 3.
Soon to be 80.
Soon to be 80 in 80 months.
I better, there you go. I was about to say, I better up my production rate.
Chop here.
Hope that chair's comfortable.
I better buy a knockoff Secret Labs chair.
I was going to say, you should buy a standing desk.
Wenzik's chair? Because this chair is phenomenal.
Looks like
Here, you should have a standing desk. You're someone I think would need that.
If they didn't cost so much, I absolutely would get a standing desk. Absolutely.
It's a great idea.
In an instant. But
I'd like to get one, but yeah.
What if you just get a bunch of books and stack your normal desk on top of the books?
That is dangerous. That's doable, but that is a very high risk scenario.
Yeah, you have a glass desk, so like,
as long as Evan's copy of Brissinger is one of the books underneath.
It's not Evan's copy. It's my copy.
I think it's Evan's.
Oh man, I'm honestly surprised you haven't broken that desk yet with the amount of times you've hit it with your hand.
At this point, I think it's not going to break. It would have broken by now if it's going to break.
Just a little hairline fracture in there somewhere. One day, it's just gonna.
But no, see, if I started stacking it with books, I'd hit it, and then it would like do a wiggle. I'd be like, hold it down.
I'd be more concerned about your computer going off the desk if it wiggled.
What about the desk itself, Jared?
Which is more expensive, the computer or the desk?
The desk has more emotional value.
So how many? Okay, now we got to change up your whole system. How many emotional dollars is a game?
Yeah. Does sentiment play into your ranking system at all?
I guess it would. You guys can't delve into my psyche like this. You're gonna you need to like
time, Peter. What would you pay for that? If it wasn't a re-release and was like a new AAA game, you know? Like,
what? Sorry,
you hadn't played it. Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask. Like you never played it and it was coming out. Would you
is there like Peter discounts? Like, if you really liked a game, is there like $25 off per hour?
I get, yeah, that's kind of what I did with Cyberpunk.
redeemable only in Peter's brain.
That's a good system.
Oh, subjectively, it always makes
right
Peter
now.
happier.
You know, I live my life in ways that I make sense. It doesn't need to make sense to everyone else, okay?
Hell yeah.
That's funny.
That's our time for the podcast, guys.
Oh, good
Alrighty.
podcast.
We got through our topic list this week.
Oh, hey, yeah,
Hell
we did
yeah.
it.
Was it last week we went like just on our own direction?
Well, it was because we had one topic because there's no news-worthy things whatsoever, and it turned out to be a really good fluid podcast when I was editing it.
Nice. You gotta love when that happens.
Yeah, and we did conversation.
Well, if you guys want to see more good conversations, make sure to check out the channel. Subscribe. We're a variety channel, so we do a bunch of different things. Me and Jared will be going live shortly after this, playing some Minecraft. Otherwise, we'll be next live on Thursday playing Call of Cthulhu. Heck yeah.
What happens next?
Heck yeah.
In our travels. Will we have a new character joining us on
I was gonna
Thursday?
say.
Perhaps.
Oh,
Maybe we'll
shit, that's right.
we'll meet a little chimney sweep boy or something.
Little lad. Little boy.
But before we sign off, I was talking to Eric when he made his character because he made his character young. And it was like, it's sometimes frowned upon in the tabletop role playing game community if like you kill a child. So let's not make him like too young. And then on this most recent spoiler alert for the most recent episode of Critical Role, Matt Mercer kills a child. It's like, oh, maybe it's not that frowned upon after all.
If
You just need a big, as I say, you just need a big source or a big representation of the game. Kill someone, and now it's mainstream. We're good.
I feel like it's like, as long as you're not goring a child and like mutilating them, then you know.
Like, oh
So, yeah.
God.
So Eric, if you want your character to be younger than 15 years old, we can make that happen.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see.
This
All
is
right.
a no Bethesda game.
All right.
Will we find the kid's father?
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, continue.
Yeah.
Okay, no.
Anyways, that's all I had to say.
Yeah, make sure you guys tune in to see the premiere.
Watch Fair Share.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
Watch Jared and Peter yell at each other.
just watch Jared. Actually, that's a lie. Just watch me. What am I talking about? Anyway, okay,
I'll stay
bye,
calm.
guys.
Bye.
I'll stay calm.